What a good song. Try a little tenderness. That's what we're going to do today, because we're not going to talk about how to rank on Google very much. We're going to talk about people today. I'm sorry. Maybe you haven't realized this, but we spent all this time talking about Google, and we don't realize that, we need people to click on our stuff, and we need them to actually like what they clicked on. Shocking. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I hope you like it. So let's throw out some words so you know what I do probably. Hey, Stefan, I see you. You throw out some words that you think that my business might want to rank for to get business for my business. I know it's early, but I'm not going to move forward unless you participate. So tough shit. So what words make sense for me? If you were consulting me, what words would you say make sense for me to target in my business? Oh, what's that? Ring. Rank. Yeah, I want to rank, right? Rank shit. Yeah, rank. I should go after the word rank. SEO. What else? Hot guys. I got a slide for you later, girl. So, give me one more. Quality score. All right. This is what I feel about those answers.
Curtis Jackson. And his first pitch was not great. Just a bit outside.
Thank God you guys played Kanye. I love showing New York Mets fans just bad clips of things that happened in your stadium. So there's a reason why all those are wrong. And I made some of the same mistakes you all did. I said, well, my terms that I tried to rank for, and I did rank successfully for, from about 2008 till about, from about 2007 to about 2013, were SEO company. We were in the top 2 or 3 globally, and the plural, SEO consultant, SEO agency, right? So it's nice when you're like, yo, you do SEO? Yeah, so do I. Guess what? I rank number 2 for SEO company anywhere in the world. Woohoo, the business is just going to come in. I'm going to tell you why that was a fail, so that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. So why are those words the bad words? Simply because I didn't understand any of the people who type in words like SEO. I didn't understand the people who type in the word SEO company, SEO consultant, SEO agency. Those were the words that I wanted. Do me a favor. Type in SEO company into Google. For those of you on your laptops or your phones, you'll notice a little something about the search results. They're local. They're local. My business does not only work with people in the cities that we work in, Philadelphia and San Diego. So now do you see why it might not make sense for me to rank for the word SEO company? Because mostly all the results are local. The organic results are local. And above that, you get a map for the word SEO company. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. The reason why I did not rank well, or I ranked well and got no business because of that, was because small businesses were like, we don't want you and your big brands. I don't have the money for it. So I wasn't solving their problem. And as Google's machine learning started kicking in, and we're going to do a really cool little piece on machine learning and how it works, I realized something. I started losing traffic. I started losing rankings, but my business was growing exponentially. That goes counterintuitive to probably everything you've heard about search. Lose traffic, business goes up. Happened to me. How does that happen? Well, Google realized that I wasn't solving the problem that the user had. They were looking at how users, back in 2009 and 10, I could just put SEO company in more than you, and I could get more links than you, and I could ask all my friends for links, and then that's how I outranked you. The funny thing is that it never got me any business. But imagine the hundreds of hours you have to spend to try to beat every other SEO on the planet to rank better than them for the word SEO company or SEO consultant, only to find out that it gave you 0 in new business. Should have talked to some people. I probably should have worked on getting thanked more than getting ranked. And thank God for Helen. Helen thanks us. And in the way of thanking us, she has referred us significantly over and over and over again. I saw her here a few years ago. And it was shocking to me when I looked at my business and I realized if I do the right job for the right people, they'll tell other people. And that grew my business more than ranking for the words that all you might think are important to type in. So what's the point? That's the point. Where are you getting rankings and getting like, no thanks? I did it. I'm telling you. I am telling you this and sharing this with you because I wasted countless hours, so much time trying to understand how to rank for stuff because this is the pre-machine learning days. Now that Google's got machine learning, you will never make the mistakes that I'm making, and later today I'll walk you through how to make sure you're not making them. So, audience participation segment number 2. What words do you think of when you see this? You say nothing, I don't advance. Military. Okay, what else do you think? Defense. What else? War. What about the people in there? So, how many of you would say heroes? Heroes? Would you call them heroes? These guys are insurgents. They're not? What's the difference about the two freaking pictures? Bingo. It's funny. Put some brown people in the back of a freaking Toyota and they become fucking insurgents. If I don't show you their faces, they're heroes. Don't laugh. This is human psychology, people. Think about the two words you thought of that you didn't say when you saw this. You know, somewhere in your mind you're like, and I'm proud to be an American. And then this comes up and you're like, bomb them. And you're like, whoa, it's same thing. Men with guns, you know. Okay, so they have scarves. Scarf doesn't make you a terrorist. All right, let's keep going. See, this is the problem of everything that I've done for 17 years of doing search is I never took time to understand how people think. I never took time to understand stuff like that. I went, well, my job starts with a word. But I forgot that before a word, people have a thought. Right? Somebody's thinking something before they're typing something. And I ignored that my entire career. I never spent time trying to understand what people thought. I just said, well, once they type it in, let's go rank for that shit, right? Wrong. You know, let's take you back to like high school or college when you had to study like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When people type things into Google, this is going on before this goes on. And I spent no time studying how humans behave. But yet I was ranking things, which is why I'm going to rank for SEO company. Yeah, watch all the money come in. Why is nothing coming in? So we've minimized people down to the words they search for and ignored everything else around them. And that's what we're going to show today, are examples of what I call search UX. How you actually go through the process of understanding who is the person behind the search. And I'm going to show you real wins with real revenue dollars attached to them so you don't think this is fluffy bullshit. If you're in the real estate space, keyword research is never going to tell you this, but it affects all of your, not all, a percentage of your Asian American or your Chinese American customers. But I rank. I rank for whatever keywords I should rank for because the SEO team told me I should rank for them. Yeah, but if you're in a zip code or an area where there's a lot of Chinese buyers or there's a lot of Chinese American buyers and you don't know this, then what's on your freaking landing page? You're not talking their language. Maya Angelou said it best. People won't forget what you said. And I love that picture of Maya Angelou. It's like her like young, I'm like dope girl phase. People don't forget what you said or what you did. They'll remember how you made them feel. And we've ignored that part of search for a long, long time. How do we make people feel? Let's talk about labels a bit.
I believe that Obamacare, the premiums are too much, too high, so people end up paying more.
Right.
So I believe in the Affordable Care Act.
And so the Affordable Care Act is more affordable than Obamacare?
Right, correct.
Right.
Which is obvious based on the name.
It's in the name, right?
Right.
Why do you like the Affordable Care Act more than Obamacare?
Because I don't like Obama.
But you like the Affordable Care Act?
Yeah.
What if I told you Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing?
All right. Why do I show you that? Because that matters. Labels, words matter. Should you rank for Obamacare or the ACA? Make up your mind. Thanks for participating in that. That wasn't actually part of the audience participation segment, but I love your chutzpah. So different words can have the same word can have a different context or a different meaning. And I felt there was no better way than to show this to you than through a couple of clips. So I'm going to show you 3 GTFOs.
Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
I would take an offer from anybody besides Mr. Wonderful.
Manish, you're a get the out of here.
Okay, well, are you all out?
You.
All right. So let's say that we are leaving here today, and you see me, you say, hey, Will, that presentation about people was awesome. And I go, get the fuck out of here. You're going to feel slightly different than if I'm like, fuck you, get the fuck out of here. Think about that, though. We think that our job is to rank keywords, and we don't spend any time understanding the context. Because that's the same keyword, way different context. And the reason why this matters today more than ever is Google is finally caught up to understanding people better and better and better. See, what happened when I went and ranked for SEO company thinking I was a fucking genius is I didn't talk to people. And by not talking to people, I optimized for it. I ranked my company for it, and we got a lot of traffic for it. When Google's machine learning finally kicked in, they went, oh my God, every time somebody searches for that and gets to your site, they're disappointed. So we're going to bump you out. So the machine learning, when I started watching that catching up, I went, oh my God, I got to start understanding what's going on there. So I'll keep kind of going forward because there's some stuff at the end I really want to make sure I get to. So it literally brought me 0 deals. 3 or 4 years of ranking in the top 5 for the word SEO company, SEO companies, SEO consultant, SEO consultants, SEO agency, and SEO agencies. Globally, brought me 0 closed deals. 0. And once the machine learning kicked in, I went, oh, I guess that this is mostly a local query, and we work with a lot of big clients, and most local people were like, this isn't the guy for me. So their behaviors showed Google something that showed them that I wasn't the right match for them, and Google knocked me right out. So let's do a little machine learning 101. It's funny, when you do ego searches for your name, and then somebody else comes along with your name, you learn a little bit about machine learning. So let's go through it. Type in my name. Some of those are me. Some of those are not me. And I was trying to figure out, why is it all of a sudden, am I ranking for all the blue links, but like it was like Marty in Back to the Future. I was slowly disappearing out of the top image search. See this down here? Search is related to Wil Reynolds. Look at me. Look at how when people modified their search, the first most frequently modifier on my name was model. And when you do that, you get that hot guy. Yeah. People wanted the model. Now, here's the thing about disappointing your users. is Google started to realize a lot of people had to do multiple searches to find what they wanted, and that's not what Google wants. So what did they do? They said, okay, well, a lot of people are modifying their search to model because they were searching for Wil Reynolds, and they weren't getting what they wanted because they were seeing this guy with this face. And then they said, well, what do you do when you don't find what you want on Google? You add another word to your query until you eventually do, right? So what did they do? They added the word model. And then when they added that word model and got into image search, Google went, people are kind of looking like this. They're like, yeah, that was the Wil Reynolds I was looking for. Google could tell that they were happier than when they got the Wil Reynolds that looks more like this guy. The machines could tell that people were more fulfilled when they found the model. So then when you just searched for Wil Reynolds, they said, we don't need to put him up on any of the blue links. Why? What is a model's content? Images. It's their face. You could put a bag over my face right now and still get all my content. So I have all the 10 links, but I've slowly started getting pushed out of the image results as he's become more and more popular because he is solving their problem with images. You don't need to see my face to get my content. All right, this is why this machine learning stuff is important, because the tactics that you think in your mind make the most sense don't always make the most sense. So how do we apply this? Because I can't just like talk about this and be like, later. Like, no, we got to show how this actually works on your day-to-day job. So first thing you have to be willing to admit is that when you get a top ranking, your job is not over. If you are not willing to admit this, then I will see you with the other graveyard of SEOs that were really good before, the Panda update came and they had their freaking link network site and now they're all unemployed trying to get jobs. I'm telling you, you have to decide that just because I've got a top ranking, my job is actually just starting. Why? Because I'm telling you, I got top rankings for words, and I was disappointing users, and that was pre-machine learning. Today, with machine learning, you're going to learn pretty quick what Google actually wants and thinks is the right thing to rank, and you'll know whether or not you're swimming upstream. In 2008, when I went for this, the machine learning wasn't there, so therefore I couldn't type it in and see that all the results were local. So I went after it like a freaking moron and wasted hundreds of hours to get no increased business. So I'm going to show you 4 different wins and a few tips on how we have actually created wins for our clients by understanding people first over just how do we rank on Google. So the first one is we stopped working on the wrong problem, which is a win for me. Because sometimes you start working on something for a client and you go after it with links and guns blazing and you find out 6 months later, oh, was I working on the wrong problem? Oh, is that why no business came in, but we got ranky ranks? So it's my Google doesn't want you here, or my nicer version of clients is Google is a proxy for what people actually really want. Let me show you this in action. We have a client who says, we want to rank for water coolers, rank us for water coolers, like Seer, you guys are awesome, you should be able to rank it. I'm like, I can't, in a machine learning world, I just can't rank you for shit that you actually, people don't want you to rank for. What do I mean by that? Look at everything in yellow. You can actually, for the most part, buy water dispensers. Water dispensers was the word. Lowe's, Amazon, Home Depot, Sears, Costco, Sears again, Sam's Club. Like, look at them, right? This is a B2B company down there. They're an outlier. And my client wanted to rank for it. And I said, but let's also look at machine learning, what people typically search for afterwards. Brands. You start being like, oh, Target, Costco, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. And you go, you're not one of them. You're a B2B company. You don't have retail stores. A lot of people want that. The machines are telling me what people actually search for after they search for that. And your name's not up there. And then we showed them their webpage and went, here's 9 out of the 10 pages that rank organically look like this. And here's your fucking page. Do you really want me to try to swim upstream against what Google is telling people they actually want? You really want me to spend the next 6 months to a year of your money swimming upstream? And they're like, but I told my boss we'd rank on the first page of Google. I'm like, what's that got to do with solving a problem for people? Nothing. So how can you have this I don't want to say argument, I want to say enlightenment a little bit better with your clients or your bosses. SimilarWeb. Check out the category. So what we do, and you can do this at scale, because SimilarWeb can dump this out of the API if that's your thing, but if you have to do it individually, we just went to SimilarWeb and dropped in all the companies that were outranking them. And they were all under the shopping, and they were all under shopping. And then you type in one of their B2Bs, and you're like, you're in a completely different realm. Your site doesn't match the categories of the other 9 sites outranking you. So why would we swim upstream? Out of the top 10, there's only one site out of the 10 that is a business site. Sorry, business site. All right. So, I feel like when we go up here and we talk about what Google's doing, like, this is us, right? And then, like, this is Google. Like, you think you understand? You think you understand how to rank on our search engine? They're like, if you actually talk to Googlers, for the most part, they say they don't even completely know why things are ranking on there. The machines are doing all of it now. But yet, people like me come on stage like, oh, I've been doing this for 17 years, so listen to me. Like, nope, machines are learning. And Google's looking at you like, are you freaking serious? Okay, yeah, you know what you're doing. All right. By listening to customers and fighting for what's right and trying to find a solution to people's problems, we got 300,000 more visitors to just one page for one of our clients. So they are in the cloud computing space, and they hired a bunch of SEO companies to help them out, and they fired all of them over a bunch of years because they just couldn't break page 1. And they were really upset about this because they're like, we're one of the biggest. Why are we not ranking on the first page of Google? This is why. It wasn't they needed links. They have more links than God. They didn't need a bunch of new content. They forgot basic human psychology. We don't like being sold to. Let me give you an example. If I stop my presentation right now and talk to you about how awesome Seer is for the next 20 minutes, who's going to want to work with me? No one. That's human nature. So why on the web do we send people to sales pages when they want to be educated? You're doing it. Yeah, you are. So use the machine learning as a proxy for what people want. When I typed in cloud computing, we said, well, we've realized why most of the companies have failed previously. They don't want sales pages. Your cloud computing page is a sales page. There was a time about 24 months ago when there was not one company ranking on the first page of Google for the word cloud computing because they all want to sell you stuff. And then we just looked, all we did was look. This wasn't like, ooh, we did this cool thing. All we did was look and went, there's a definition at the top. Clue. There's images. Why do you think there are images showing up as a great answer for cloud computing? That Google thinks that's a good answer. Why do you think that's showing up? Who said that? You two over there back there. You are a goddamn genius. People don't understand how it works. So they don't understand that if I take my phone out and put a file on my phone and then walk over here and get on my computer, it's there too. People don't understand that. This was an education query. Use Google as a proxy for understanding what people actually want. And all I'm asking you to do is just to stop typing on Google and open your eyes. So that's what we did. We stopped, opened our eyes, and changed our search strategy. Today, unfortunately, 3 of their competitors have copied them the minute we did. We were the first people to realize that no one was going to rank with a sales page, and nobody wanted to make an education page. We don't want to write what is cloud computing or beginner's guide. It was like, well, then you don't want to rank for the word cloud computing. Because all my SEO prowess in the world is useless. I can't fight against the machines. This isn't the Terminator. And no BS, 300,000 extra visits a year by changing that page from a sales page to one that was like, what is cloud computing? What is hybrid cloud? We put a video in to explain what cloud is. We put images. Why do you want to put these images, simple images up? Because Google's already figured out with millions of searches on the word cloud computing over the last 5, 6, 7 years, that part of the right answer is showing people what they actually want, which is they don't understand how it actually works. That's all we did. We're really happy about that one. No links, no crazy content strategy. It was just stop, look at what Google's showing people. Let's not swim upstream. 300,000 more visitors and millions of dollars in revenue. Millions. All right. $601,200 in additional revenue without improving the rankings one bit. Let's tell you how that happened. So I've been showing this a lot, and I'm probably going to show this until the day I die because not enough people are doing it. So I'm sorry if you've seen it before, but you're probably not doing it the last time you saw it. So hopefully seeing it again will make you want to do it. All right, so we changed 8 meta descriptions by just looking at PPC ad copy that was very successful. That's all we did. This isn't no links, no new content, none of that BS. All we did was say, PPC, you guys are on a faster feedback loop than SEO. So why don't you guys go out and show us the ads you've been testing on these words, and then we asked the client if we could change 10 meta descriptions. And that's all we did. By changing 10 meta descriptions on only 10 pages, that client made an extra I think it was an extra $5,000 that month in revenue, real money. Year over year, that's a $65,000 increase. Over the next 3 years, it's a little over $200,000. All we did was say, well, wow, when you use the word 2017 and the word gorgeous in your ad copy for your paid ads, you get a really high click-through rate. Let's put in 2017 and gorgeous in our meta description instead of the word wedding dresses, whoa, look what happened. Absolutely crazy to see that. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. The client had to copy and paste 10 meta descriptions. You know what they asked us to do after that? They said, can you please stop doing all that content and link building shit? Because we copy and pasted, and I can project out to my boss, we're going to make $200,000 off of data they already had. They were already running paid search. The two people just never talked to each other. All right, so I'm going to move up a little bit. All right, so we talked to 6 people in a project management software client. We decided to talk to some people. They were already ranking number 2 or 3 for the word project plan, right? So we were like, what's an SEO company to do when you already rank high? We said, well, let's just talk to some people and see how they actually talk about the page when they find it. We interviewed them. They told us, you know what? If it was broken up this way, the content that I really like, and we kept hearing a consistent theme. And as we heard that consistent theme, we just rebuilt the content the client already had, broke it out in different ways based on what we heard people say. $200,000 revenue impact within 3 months. No rankings improvement at all. Revenue improvement. And you know what? Think about this. When you go into your manager and try to ask for that raise, what would you rather have? Here's how much money I made you, or here's the rankings you have. All right. So, another way to find opportunity is to watch SEOs just being SEOs. Let me show you. Paid search people for the word order checks online all have $ in them. This is how basic this is. I'm just asking you to look. Isn't it cool? I've asked you to do no cool tools. I've given you no URLs to enter. I've asked you to do the thing you're currently doing, which is keep your fucking eyes open. And I'm showing you money. $13 in paid ads. Guess what the SEOs haven't realized yet? Boom! Not a goddamn $ on any of the meta descriptions. So if I was going after this query right now, and a client goes, hey, we want to rank higher, I go, nah, not yet. Oh, we want some links. Not yet. Let's just put a $ and what your typical cost is and get clicks for days. It's funny, right? Like this is the most siloed thing you've ever seen. It's sitting right in front of your face. Why are they all using $ in their ads? I don't know. Let me just put order checks online in my description and update it 5 more years from now. Wrong. All right. Opportunity be knocking. Most of y'all do not know this guy. This is Action Bronson. Does a really cool song with Chance the Rapper. Anyway, so I want to show you that putting listening into action can make you better marketers. Makes you actually solve your customer's problem because the machines are gunning for us. So the first thing you're going to have to do there is I need you to get out from behind your desk. I'm sorry. I know you like to sit behind your desk and not make phone calls and talk to real people, but those are the people who click on your shit and buy stuff. So you might want to talk to them. What makes me really proud is someone at Seer actually went to a customer's location for one of our clients and talked to the people who buy product from our clients. And we completely revolutionized the way we did search because we talked to people. These are actually like examples from our deliverable. But you know what I like more than that? My team doesn't forget that there's a person behind that search. It's almost like every time they do a search strategy, they got a person and they've heard that person's voice and they've heard the intonation and they've heard what they don't like and what they struggle with. They bring that with them to every search strategy. You're still looking at some tool with monthly search volume and rankings, and you have no empathy. The best example I can give you is we work for a client who does like rent to own, rent to own. And we talked to people, and guess what we found out? Half of the people we talked to were on fixed income. They're on fixed income, which means they look at the world differently. That's why they were on rent to own. The query will never tell you that, people. Nobody types in rent to own on fixed income. But once you've heard that this is an old lady at home on Medicare, or she's on Social Security rather, and she knows she's going to get a certain amount every month, and that's how she makes her decisions on how to buy her Christmas gifts for her kid, that makes you a better marketer for life for that client. Because every time you're thinking of doing a link building strategy or a search strategy or doing a new description, you will remember that lady. You will remember the lady who went through a divorce and then 2 days later had her identity stolen and can't get good credit. You'll remember her and you'll be a better marketer because you'll want to produce content to help her. You will not produce, how many times can I get this keyword in so I can rank and get out of here content. There are people behind these searches. Man, I got to try to ask for 15 more minutes next time I do this one. So we went to Home Depot. So now I'm giving my team as much money as they want to talk to customers. I don't even bat an eye. So a bunch of our team members went to Home Depot for one of our clients because they sell at Home Depot, and we rode along with their research team. And what we learned is that when you go to Home Depot and you have a premium product that you sell in Home Depot, you know what Home Depot associates say to you? There's a cheaper one of these. It's just as good. Does that affect my clients' conversions? You better freaking believe it does. But if I'm sitting in my desk looking at monthly search volume, and I go into Google Analytics, I don't realize that where the rubber meets the road in Home Depot, people are telling all my research, all the things that we've built, they're saying, yeah, well, that's good, but like here's this one that does the same thing, and it's like 30% cheaper. And then, God, I love having a progressive client. You know what they did? They said, we're going to build a microsite now that we know what the words are that people are using and what they're telling people is like ours, they built a microsite specifically to target those words on paid, because it's the only way we could do it, at the latitude and longitude of every Home Depot and Lowe's in the country. So now when you're like, oh, well, what brand is that you said? Let me search for it. We have a microsite that specifically talks to that person's needs and what they're thinking of and going through. Oh, thank God for clients that let you do dope shit. Because we actually got to solve a real problem. They didn't say, go get me some more links this month. Well, I noticed the domain authority on this one link that went down 10 points. What? All right. So I want to show you some ways, to get your competitors' heat maps. And I want to show you, and now you got to really listen. So I need you to really listen on what people are typing in on Google and how we're trying to get better at the UX of search. Crank this up a little bit.
All right, so I personally like the list formatted stuff that BuzzFeed puts out and gives you sort of a numeric value of tips or advice or whatever it's providing. So this seems to be
all right. So what this guy was saying when he's scrolling through is he's like, I like the fact that this site has 33 of whatever, okay? It's a list. And then he got to it, and within about 3 seconds, he went, this is pretty lowbrow. All right, let's turn it up. I got another one coming for somebody that searched differently and got to the same content.
So was that just, yeah.
Yeah. I like the list of things, and like it's very like easy to read and like user friendly, where if you just have a bunch of info and nothing is, like for a list, like you're just looking for bullet points, you're not looking for an essay or even a video that takes 4 minutes.
Would you print it, or just?
Yeah, definitely. If there was something like an actual checklist, not like we recommend you do this, you know? Like this is what
So what this woman did is she went through these same search results. She searched differently. So I'm going to skip ahead. One was a white male, one was a Hispanic female, and she searched for what to bring when moving. He searched for best moving advice. 2 different phrases. They both ended up on that BuzzFeed article. And then they both told us the same thing, which is, you know what? I wish it was an actual checklist. I wish that it wasn't so lowbrow, and like they're basically telling me how to pack, which I already know how to pack. So then, if I was in this space, I would run that thing through SEMrush, find all the things that that one URL ranks for. I now know that BuzzFeed is currently disappointing users for that query. I've heard it 10 times. I've heard it 10 times. I basically have gotten their heat maps. If you ask people to go through and search for something and find it, and you ask them to record it, you're getting your competitors' heat maps. And the machines sure as hell know that most people don't like that content, but none of us have stepped up yet to knock those guys out. And really, none of us really like BuzzFeed that much. Look at all the words it ranks for. All these are disruptable. If anybody in here is in the moving space, go do that. Come back to me next year, show me what you did. I guarantee you're gonna knock them out because nobody that we ever interviewed liked that content. They started off like, oh, this is good. And then very quickly, within about 3 or 4 seconds, they're like, oh, this isn't really what I wanted. So, I'm gonna show you more examples of what happened when we listened. That's my son. He's freaking cute. I'm gonna not see him tonight, so that's why I wanted to put a picture of him in. All right, so this guy typed in sample, and we have a certain task tool that we use. You can also do this on Fiverr for $5.
Photo editing.
All right, that's a long tail query, buddy. All right, but this changed the way I looked at this query because I wasn't thinking, oh, the words I should use are easy. Most of us, you know the problem with the long tail? We look at it and we ignore it because the monthly search volume is low. You're looking at it through the wrong lens. It's an exercise in empathy. This made me think, there's a lot of people who aren't typing in easy. But I went, oh my God, of course, who wants a difficult app? No one. But you have to make it easy for them. So then I'm like, client, why don't we test putting in easy in our title and description? When the client doesn't let us do work, we find a way to do it. So I was like, just ask them if we can change one page. Oh, there we go, 20% increase in click-through rate. Awesome. Can we do more of that work and more of that audience research? Yep. Because when you say you want to do audience research, what our clients hear is you don't want to do any work for 2 months. And you want to get paid for 2 months, but you don't want to do any work. So it's our job to show our clients that actually, like, no, if we can do this in 5 minutes and change that description, we can get data back within a couple of weeks on a highly trafficked page, and then I can show you that this might actually work for you or that I'm wrong. All right. So let me go back one. When he searches for simple interface photo editing apps, you can see that there's actually like an answer box there. And then what we learned from him when he went through this process is he looked for ones that said iPhone in the title because he has an iPhone. I was like, oh, right. And how many of them were titled with like best apps? And he skipped over all of them.
Trying to avoid the 2016 one. I'll try 2017. It's more up to date. Plus I have an iPhone.
There it is. This was done in January. His perception of 2016 was old. Think about that though. I'm bringing that to my research now, right? 2017 is a big deal. Also, what you didn't realize, because I cut it down, he skipped over the first 5 results. If you do anything, please, now that I'm watching real people use the real internet and you're not, stop using click-through curves. Stop it. I have heard the most crazy shit on how people have chosen what to click on. This guy skipped the first 5 results because he was looking for 2017. Your click-through rate curve does not go like this, does it? No, it always goes like this, and it's wrong. Not for, that's the general, not if you're in the iPhone apps business. All right.
Show too. Looks pretty easy, has different tools and stuff. Okay, so you just slide to the right or left. All right.
All right. So this looks easy. It's got tools and stuff. Let me tell you how I interpreted that. He wanted to see how it actually was going to work. And I was like, man, our landing pages that have all this content on it, let's remember that if we can put enough screen grabs in that show our actual feature sets, people will really be like, oh, I can see that you can swipe from that screen and go to that screen, and then your image is up. Because I want it to be easy. Different way of approaching your content strategy. Then we do this on the mobile.
What would you search for photo editing?
Because mobile is a different context, so people interact differently with content. Like this. Rich snippet, see your finger went right over it? See,
So you click the suggest for the photo editor app.
Yeah, I'll go to one of these. One of the first ones that come up.
Why? Actually, go through it. Which ones would
All
you
right.
like?
So she said, I go to one of the first ones that shows up, and she did. She clicked on the first one. But now, let's watch what she clicks on second. There it goes, it's moving. So you can see her, she's reading it.
And then I go through and try to see if I can see any of them.
I want to see if I can see any of them. She's talking about the screen grabs.
So those are examples?
Yeah.
Okay.
She went back. Now watch all the ones she's skipping. She's skipping 2, she's skipping 3, she's skipping 4, she's skipping 5, she's skipping, and she went to 6. So she clicked on the first one, and then skipped the next ones, and went to the next, and went to the 6th one.
And then based on the date, the last time it was updated.
And I'm talking over her, so I apologize because I wasn't sure how the audio was going to work. She said, because it says 2016. What's crazy when you look back at this, I'm going to go back one more, because now I want you to look at the date stamps that are all more recent than the ones she clicked on.
So, what is it? So those are examples?
So look, Forbes is from 16, 33 best photo apps, December 1st, 2016, October 25th, 2016. She skipped over them to click on the one that said 2016 in the title.
Based on the date.
So just having it in the snippet, most people aren't used to that. They don't see that. So if you don't put it in where they click, they're actually skipping over your more recent content with the tag. You will never learn that doing SEO. You have to start talking to people. Look at all the things she skipped over that could have solved her problem that were more recent than the content she clicked on. She clicked on the one that had 2016 in the title. So if I'm consulting with this client, this is how I'm going to try to get them back their clicks. That I'm losing the rich snippets and other things. She also skipped over the snippet.
There.
This right here?
Yeah. Why did you skip that initially?
I don't know. I usually do.
You usually skip that part?
Yeah, I usually just go straight to the listing.
Interesting.
Because I don't know anything about it, so I have no frame.
All right, so now I'm realizing that I'm over. I thought I was counting down, and it's counting up. So what she said there is that she doesn't have a frame of reference. She said, if I click on the app, I then got to click into a bunch of different apps and compare them all to each other. Isn't it easier if they're just all on one page for me? And I went, that rich snippet's going to be different for different people. And then I go, well, that's how I would search too. So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to ask you all to say goodbye to the old school. This whole concept of thinking about people and understanding what they're searching for, I think is going to help all of you. And I've showed you that it makes money. So I'm not marching you off with some fluffy shit that feels good, and then you go, but if I do it, I'm not going to make any money. It does. That's the question. That's the thing I'm going to leave you with. Is it's our job to minimize the time from the ask to the answer. That's what I want you all to be thinking of. How can I keep my customer from having to do 10 searches to find what they ultimately want? And I hope that all of you join me on this journey, because it sure makes the job a lot more fun. Thanks so much. Have a great day.